How's everybody doing? And today is pretty much the why factor. And when I say the why factor, more so, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I getting into this? Why am I trying to train why am I training for a triathlon? By all means, I'm not training for a full triathlon, so let me just be very clear. Okay, I'm doing a super sprint, so that's like half of a triathlon, just like a beginner into it. So I'm only swimming I'm doing 200 yards. I'm biking 5.5 miles, and I'm running 1.7, sorry. It's not that severe, but for somebody that never did it before, that's the entry level. And that's something that's what I wanted. I wanted to try it and then kind of build myself up to it. I also do have my bike race in August. In August. That's 54 miles. So I'll be biking for about like 3.5 hours. And then before that, so I got 2 events in June. The first event is a Tough Mudder. And then the second one is going to be it's called a super sprint. And then in August, I have my actually 54, or I think it's 53 or 54 mile bike race. Super stoked. So let's get into it. Why am I doing this? Okay. And by the way, I got into skiing this year too, as well. Why am I doing this? I'm going to be honest. Before I get into this is just a disclosure. This is just my opinion, okay? This is just my views, and this is my perception of my life into basically everything that I'm doing, okay? I'm not trying to talk for anybody other than myself. So with that said, these are just my opinions. I got into skiing this year because one, I always wanted to ski. I tried snowboarding and skiing when I was like 15, 16 years old. Sucked at skiing, so I tried snowboarding, and snowboarding came a little bit easier. So I did that for basically the season, and I never picked it back up because nobody else was doing it. Now, here's the shit that kind of pissed me off. I didn't do it because I wasn't confident enough to stick with it to get better at it. One, because I didn't see nobody like me doing it. And I also kept hearing that's white people shit. And at the time, I listened. Obviously, I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. Because visually, I didn't see nobody like me on the slopes anyway. And I wasn't around nobody that was talking about skiing or doing anything that deep down inside that I wanted to do anyway. It was basketball and football. Like, that's literally the only thing that we talked about. Basketball, football, yada, yada, yada. And by all means, I suck at basketball. I'm very phenomenal at football. Like I said. Suck at basketball. I mean, I think I'm an average player, but compared to the stigma around black people being phenomenal at ball, no, I suck at ball. So it kind of go figure. But where I truly excel at is the extreme sports, like CrossFit, strongman, biking for long distance. Apparently, I'm not a runner. Well, I mean, I'm not a runner, but I'm going to have to become a runner. So, but I like the extreme sports. That's what I'm drawn to. Like, that's what I truly love. And anything that gives you that competitive nature, and I'm not saying football and basketball doesn't do that, but I think because the stigma is around like, well, you black, so you should be phenomenal in football and basketball, it kind of turned me off. It's like, not all black people are phenomenal in football and basketball. So just to put it out there. But so as a young kid or like a young adult, I wanted to do all these things. I actually wanted to get into triathlon. I didn't know nothing about triathlon other than what I saw on TV and stuff like that. But secretly inside, like, I was yearning for that. Like, oh, what is that? I want to try that. But outwardly, I didn't voice my opinion because, again, like, I didn't see nobody like me. Okay, I didn't see nobody obviously in my circle or even on TV that was fitting or even looking, talking, dressing like me. So like, yo, that's not for me. Go figure. Same thing with biking, same concept. So year goes by. Now, we in this global pandemic. Everything's shut down. Everybody jumping on bikes. Everybody's trying new things. Everybody is reinventing the concept of who they are as a person. And 2020, that was the year that I told myself I wanted to travel more. I wanted to get outside of my comfort zone of certain things, and I want to explore who I am as a person. So I took on this image, or I guess you could say I took off the persona of what people thought I was and be like, yo, take me for who I am. If you like it, awesome. If not, yo, I don't got to rock with you. So I start going through all my notes that I wrote like over the years. What do I want to accomplish? What do I want to do? List goes on, yada, yada, yada. And it kind of came back to like, hey, I always liked biking, but yo, never got into it. I always wanted to do like a triathlon, but yo, never got into it. Always wanted to get into skiing. Yo, never got into it. So I was like, yo, bump that. I'm about to just dive in. And if anybody knows me, I dive into stuff. I don't think about it. I don't let things hinder me anymore. If I want to do something, I tend to go 0 to 100, and I'm learning to do baby steps. Like I can still dive into stuff, just don't dive in 100%. Like kind of put your feet in there, see if you like it, and then kind of go from there. That's what I did with skiing. Had an awesome time this year. Awesome time. I suck at it, but at least I can get down the mountain without falling multiple times now. And I actually enjoyed myself. And honestly, this time around, it's going to sound funny, but I actually saw people like me. It was like 4 people, and I was one of the 4. So minus the whole, people looking like me, I wasn't really looking for that. I went into it knowing like, yo, if I don't see nobody like me, yo, that's fine. But I was shocked when I saw basically 3 black people plus myself on the mountain. So I didn't travel a lot. I only went to 2 mountains. I went to Mount Snow, and Mohawk. And I had an awesome time. Like I actually enjoyed myself. Definitely made me feel like I was supposed to be there. Like I felt good. I wasn't intimate. I wasn't scared. Pause that real quick. So there's a phrase that a lot of people are very familiar with. And the phrase is that's some white people shit, or that's some black people shit. Technically, not necessarily that's some black people shit. It's more like that's some white people shit. That statement is so powerful when I'm about to break it down for you. Now, when it comes down to a triathlon or cycling or even skiing, I'm not going to lie to you. It is a huge investment. Okay. There is entry level stuff, but the entry level, we talk about a couple $100, and obviously it kind of goes up from there. I actually did saved up for the skiing aspect of it to make sure that I rent my skis for the season. And you got to pay for your lift ticket. And depending where you go, lift tickets can run from $40 to $180. So just think about that. If you're going skiing almost every weekend, price range from, like I said, from $40 to $180 or even more, that tends to add up. So now this statement, that's some white people shit, skiing or, biking or more so cycling. So when I say biking, I'm referencing cycling, not actual bicycle. Being a triathlon athlete, let's be honest, like you don't really see a lot of black people going out trying to be a triathlon athlete. I don't want to say it's because it's white people shit, and now I'm about to break down what white people shit mean. When people say, oh, that's white people shit, they are saying in a microaggression that's too expensive for you. You don't see people like you doing that sport, and why do you think that you can do it? You can't afford it. Kind of fucked up to say it, right? But just think about it. anytime you see somebody doing something so extreme that's outside of somebody's comfort zone, it's always follow up with, yo, that's some white people shit. And don't get me wrong, I was the main one that was following that same stigma. And that stigma actually got me to stop doing a lot of shit because it was like, yo, yeah, you're right. That is white people shit. Skiing, triathlon, cycling, and stuff like that. Only because, one, I didn't see a lot of people that was like me. And again, just remember, this is my perception, okay? My perception was very small. And I mean, again, probably small. Because I was not exposed to a lot of different things because of that white people shit stigma. I didn't branch out so far. I stayed in the comfort of my community, what I was drawn to at that time, basketball, football. Pretty much that's really it. And any biking that we did, it was buying a bike from like Walmart or Kmart or Bradley's or Ames. These names that I'm throwing out for all the youngers that's listening, these used to be stores. Besides Walmart, it's still here. So besides that, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody know what Walmart is. But back in the days, there was no Target and there was no Walmart. There was Bradley's, there was Caldors. What else? I don't know. JCPenney's warehouse. But anyways, I digress. Having that stigma saying that this is some white people shit, like, yo, mentally and psychologically, it kind of fucks with you. You may not think about it, while you're saying it, or you being the one being affected by it because it's very small. Hence why it's a microaggressive. It's very small. It's like planting a seed and you keep saying it waters, or you water it and it keeps blooming. And what happens, you keep that person basically in check. They don't tend to branch out because that's some white people shit. There's two cyclists that's out in LA, they form a community under the name Legion. Two black brothers, Corey Williams and Justin Williams. And they pretty much almost said the same thing that I'm about to say right here, is they didn't see people like themselves in the cycling world. And they wanted to change that. They wanted to bring our culture into that culture. And it was hard for them. It was, and it's still hard for them. But because, I'm gonna be honest, be transparent right here. Because I saw Corey Williams and Justin Williams had a documentary on basically what I was feeling, I was like, yo, I like that. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there that feel the same exact way on different topics that I'm talking about, because you're trying to break into some type of industry or some type of sport or whatever it may be. But because there's nobody in that industry or in that circle that looks like you, you tend to step back for a little bit. You tend to be reserved, like, should I do it or not? I'm telling you firsthand, do it. Regardless if you be the only one or not, do it. Because once you get in it, you'd be surprised how many people that actually look like you, but they don't talk about it. And that's one thing that I found out. Once I stopped waiting for permission, because at the end of the day, that's pretty much what it is. I was waiting for permission to do the stuff that I wanted to do. Yo, when I got into it, again, I'm not saying there's a lot of black people, but there's a lot more black people that want to do the extreme sports that I'm into that I would have never thought before. But because I took the chance to be like, yo, I'm about to just do it by myself. And theoretically, I'm not doing it by myself, because at the end of the day, I said, I want to do this. So if I want to do it, then I should go out there and do it, right? Like, that kind of makes sense. But again, I still was waiting permission to say, like, hey, it's okay for somebody that look like you to do all these things. So skiing's out the way, okay? I got skiing down. By the way, again, I like skiing and I will continue to keep skiing. Now, after skiing, or before skiing, I was already cycling because, like I said, I saw a documentary about Corey Williams and Justin Williams about their journey and stuff like that. And I was like, yo, definitely, I love that. If they doing it, like, I got a chance. I can do this. And they on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast. I'm not saying that I want to make a movement, but at least whoever's watching this, if that give you the spark to get up and go buy a bike, you're awesome. And I would get back to the reference of the white people shit and basically whatnot. But before skiing, I was cycling, or I was thinking about cycling, and then I actually got my bike and I started to do that. There was a lot of pushback, not from like an outside influence, just like myself, because again, it was like, yo, thinking about it, like I'm thinking like I gotta have all this money. I gotta have thousands of dollars to buy a bike. I have to have $1,000 to buy, or just have like a coach to teach me and stuff like that. Just again, I would think about the financial aspect of it. And by all means, it is a financial gap. But now this is where I'm about to say this is some white people shit. Because of that stigma, that phrase is some white people shit. And breaking it down mean that financially you can't afford what you're trying to do. And that's not the case. It's not that I couldn't afford. Is I was looking at the high price marks, the $10,000 bikes, getting the $600 bib, getting the $240 tire that's carbon fiber. Like I'm looking at the most expensive stuff because I don't know any better. Until I like, you know what? No. Let me take a step back. Let me just, first of all, talk to people and see like how to get into it. Start asking questions, start doing my research, start collecting data. Once I started doing that, like, I found out a lot of people were more willing to give me a bike or their old bike than me buying my own bike. And that saved me a lot. And even if I had to buy a bike, like the bike that I was looking at was like only $800 versus $10,000. Like, yeah, $800 is still a lot of money, but comparing to like $10,000 to $800, I will go with $800. I'm just saying. And in fact, like, if this is really what you want to do, then you will invest. Like, I know me throwing out these numbers, like, wow, that's a lot of money. The phone that you are watching this YouTube video on, your phone costs, $1,100, and you pay for that monthly. So paying for something that you like doing don't sound so far-fetched to me. I don't know. That's just me. That's just my opinion. So cycling's out the way. I got cycling under my belt, now skiing. Now I'm like, yo, I really want to try to do a triathlon. And I was so fortunate that I have a client that actually does like another mini triathlon, and she does it almost every year. And she told me about this local entry-level triathlon. And at the time, I'm like, yo, I'm not ready for that. I don't think I could do it because I was just starting to ski. I was starting to bike. So it was like I was doing so much at once. I'm like, I don't think I can do it. I was doubting my capabilities because, I didn't know any better. Like, I think about a triathlon, I'm thinking about like 8 hours of a long duration of a workout. Like the last time I did an 8-hour long duration of a workout was when I was doing CrossFit back in 2012. This is not 2012 no more. Okay, this is 2022. So it was like, I had to think about like the dedication that I took to do CrossFit, like, and that was hard work. But then I paused because then I'm like, yo, I'm making excuses now. I'm truly making excuses for shit that I said I want to do. So like, let me figure out like what this actually means. Like, explain what you do. And she told me that she does a mini triathlon, and hers is like 600 yards swimming. She's doing biking like 10 miles, I believe, and running is a 5K. I was like, okay, all three components. I don't think I could do all three. I could probably do one at a time, one each day, but all three, like, I'm like, is this something small? And she's like, yes. And that's what I'm doing. And it's called Super Sprint because it's only 200 yards. I'm only biking 5.5 and I'm only running for 1.7 miles. So that's very doable for somebody that's really getting into it. Now, the title of this whole YouTube rant or the talk that I'm actually being transparent with y'all is that why factor. Why do I want to do this? To be honest, I always wanted to do this, but the simple fact I was governed by these stupid microaggression words. This is white people shit. And I hate that. I hate when something or someone puts me in prison and makes me feel like I can't do something. And it's not their fault. It's my fault because I allowed that to happen. But also I was younger and I didn't know what I know now. But I had time to actually pick this up at any given time. But I know somebody be like, well, things happen in due time. You're right. Things do happen in due time. 4 years ago, would I have been ready? Mentally? Probably not. Physically? Yeah. But mentally? No, because I was focusing on other things. Now, I'm focusing on my happiness. I'm focusing on my why. I'm not worrying about the white people shit, the black people shit. I'm not worried about shit. The only thing that I'm worried about is whatever makes me happy. And if cycling makes me happy, yo, I'm a cycle. If going mountain biking makes me happy, I'm also going to do that. I'm not going to bungee jump. Just not going to do that shit. That I do not want to do that. But anything that I want to do, I would never, going forward, ever allow anybody to say like, oh, that's some white people shit. Or more so, that's too expensive. So why do you think that you can do it? So I encourage anybody, whatever you want to do, I don't care what it is. I'm not saying that you got to do like a mini triathlon or even a triathlon or any extreme sports out there. But I will say this, anything that you want to do, I personally give you permission to do it and have fun with it because I know I am. Follow my journey because this will be a doozy. So next time I get on here, I don't know. Hopefully I can get my workouts in. I'm taking a little break before I get into workout, but I gotta stay to the script. Like I gotta follow the format that I wrote down. So I believe the next video is a workout. I don't know yet. Stay tuned. Make sure that you truly subscribe. All right.